Hi and welcome back to South African Homesteader. Today I'm going to show you what's happening in the garden. I just want to do an update on the garden so that I can know how far the garden has grown, etc. Today is the 15th of November and we are going to be showing you what is growing and what's happening in the garden. So for the most part of this video, I will be doing a voiceover since it was so peaceful when I took the footage at past 6 in the morning. So I hope you enjoy it. This is as you come out my back door. We made these two pathways. That is because when we walk into the house, we can just wipe our feet on that grass and not take the dust all inside. This is my corn patch. And then next to the corn patch, we have this tomato garden with all my heirloom tomatoes. So this is where you enter the tomato garden. And I'm just giving you an overview now. So we have experienced a lot of leaf curl. And that is basically due to the amount of wind that we had recently as well as the heat. But the new leaves that are coming out, they are coming out fine. And just look at this little babies, man. So you will see some marigolds throughout this garden because they are good companion plants for tomatoes. These are some sunflowers that's bordering one pathway. Those are scatoloni tomatoes. This is some rainbow Swiss chard. That's just interplanted with the tomatoes. And those are my cucumbers. That is actually the Japanese long cucumber, and that's the first one that we are seeing. They're starting to climb up this little fence. And then here we have some Boston pickling cucumbers. And we have helped to trellis them up and help them up the trellis. Now this is my Black Beauty tomatoes, but something has been munching on it and I don't know what. If any of you might have an idea, I don't know. I'm thinking perhaps it's the birds. So each of these rows have different varieties of tomatoes. In all the beds there are two types. This is actually the Armenian cucumber. In this garden it's just not tomatoes, it's tomatoes and a few cucumbers. And then these are, see, we've trellised them up, but we've also staked them because these plants, the branches are getting so heavy that they tend to fall over, and then I'm scared it's going to break. So the intention was to let all of them grow up a single leader, in other words, up one stem, and then take out all the suckers. But it gets out of hand so quickly. This is our strawberry patch. And this is one of the old eggplants of last year, which we just trimmed down, and these eggplants already on there. The leaves are looking a bit damaged, but the production is fine. These are volunteer zinnias that came up in this bed, but they are so beautiful. They're just adding this splash of color in the middle of this garden. All this lettuce has gone to seed, So we have planted some new lettuce. Look at this beautiful zinnia. And in here we have our zucchini plants, and I have been harvesting from there. We have some tomatoes, here's more zucchini. And then next to that we have some more eggplant, also the ones from last year. And this one is laden with fruit. I mean, these about 8 eggplants on the eggplant fruit. And then these are all the new eggplants that I planted. There as well. We having a lot of damage, bug pressure this year, pest pressure, but we don't spray. The only thing that we have actually gone and put some neem oil on about a day or 2 days ago, just to minimize the pest pressure, because it's purely organic and we don't use any poisonous pesticides. So now going into the greenhouse, you have this passion fruit or grenadilla vine that has completely just sent out branches everywhere. So we have trellised it up with some string, but my husband is going to put up some more string so that it covers a bigger area. And that is how it looks at the entrance. And then these are all my pepper plants. The big ones here, these are the ones from last year, which we overwintered, but it actually produced throughout the winter. This is my celery. And over there you have my different mint plants. I have a chocolate mint, peppermint, and spearmint. And then these are my new pepper plants, which is now growing. They will start producing probably in January. I have about, I can't remember how many varieties I have, but I have quite a few varieties. So this is the Jamaican hot yellow, these ones. This is my lemon balm, and this has just grown into a big bush. You can use it for various things. I actually went online to check. These are all my pepper plants from last year. I think these are the paprikas. And this is laden with peppers, with chilies. It is laden. See, those are all the chilies, and that's just one plant. Here we have some beans. This is actually the half white sugar beans, and I've planted it alongside this fence. And look there how it's going. It's just creeping up there. It looks beautiful once the whole fence is filled with it. And these are the pepper plants next to there. These are the New Mix Twilight, and they have various colors. It's so beautiful once it's on the tree. So this is green pepper. These are the tiger chilies. It's a mild chili. And look how beautiful is the flowers. It's white with purple. Almost look like a eggplant flower, the colors. And that's how the entrance looks. So at the moment, these pepper plants are still small, but as the weeks go along, they will shoot out as well. This is my Chinese 5-color peppers. Now you'll notice throughout this garden there are various tomato plants, and we actually didn't plant these tomato plants. They came up. They are volunteer plants. Must have been self-seeded from last year. So we just left it. That was my fig tree, that's the lemon tree, Eureka lemon, and this is my Clackamas peach tree. But this tree also has so many peaches. I'm so excited for the fruit that we're going to get from there this year. And that is my pepper garden. Those are some more beans that we've just planted alongside the peppers. And I just want to show you some of the fruit on this peach tree. Look at that. I don't know if you can hear the birds chirping in the background. So now going outside, I'm walking under this arch and we have the grapevines going right over it. So there are 2 grapevines on this arch and they're going from the one side right over, which is what the plan was. So here is a canna lily in front of the layer yard. And these are the layer chickens. Some of our layer chickens are in this yard. In front of the layer yard as well, this is a volunteer tomato plant, which we have left. And they have plenty of tomatoes on them as well. So also the reason we leave it is because it provides some sort of interest against that fence. Then here, I planted, at the edge, I planted some sunflowers, and inside here, we have hollyhocks and cosmos, and some weeds, but very few weeds. That's a fig tree, and that's the one that I started from seed, which we planted there. This is a path, but in this path is a potato plant. Against the other archway, I planted some, those are all sunflowers. And then also here along this pathway is sunflowers, just to demarcate the pathways. Now going under this arch, we have a grapevine, and then we have, I can't remember this flower. I must do the leaf snap and get the name of it. I forgot what it is. But it goes right over this arch. And I'm waiting for it to get a little bit dense so that it's fuller. So coming then out of the, from under this arch, there's some more sunflowers there along the pathway, just to demarcate the pathways. Here we planted some tubers, and in here we have a seating area with some canna lilies, and in that bed here we have some zinnias. I have plenty of things in here. I have hollyhocks, I have zinnias, I have some marigolds, cornflowers, which hasn't yet started their blooms, and then we also have some delphiniums, which just started blooming. So I'm excited because there are quite a few things in here which hasn't blossomed and bloomed and which hasn't set flower yet. And then there's a nice grouping of marigolds as well. So we've only just started getting flowers on these plants, but I'm thinking that in December we're going to have a beautiful, colorful garden. These are my dahlias that I started from seed. So this whole bed has got dahlias. And in there I have some statice which I started from seed. And there we have some chrysanthemums. This is now a different bed. More chrysanthemums. And then in another bed I have some lemon drop marigolds, some cosmos. And that is cornflower at the end there. That's a banana tree. These are the cornflowers. And then here we have some more zinnias. And then there's a statice, a fig tree. And I've got some flowers that I planted. I planted some echinacea and larkspur, but we will wait for those to get bigger and then I'll show it to you. So this is what this garden looks like. It's quite dry here, so we're trying our best. But that border there, it's sunflowers, and they're growing so slowly because it's so dry. We do try and water as often as we can, but this is what it looks like here. Lots of weeds in the pathways. These are zinnias, which I just sprinkled. And then these are the gazanias that I transplanted. They're picking up now. So I actually see that they're starting to send up some blossoms. Those are 2 rosemary bushes. Canna lily, lavender, malva, an apple tree. But it's early days yet for this flower garden, so we'll see in sort of end of December, January, what it looks like. And I'm hoping to let most of these flowers dry so that they can set seed, and then just next year we'll just see what comes up and what doesn't, and I'll add some new plants with it. So there's a lot of patience to be had when starting a new garden, and especially when starting such a big garden, a garden on such a large scale. These are some aloe which we've planted there, and we've just around it scattered some zinnias as well, because I have plenty of zinnia seeds from last year. And here's my hutch. Now going into the vegetable garden again. This side we have some watermelons. These are the watermelon beds here, and they're starting to grow now. Lots of tomato volunteer plants which we are leaving. Another watermelon bed which goes all the way down. And in this is our onions and some sunflowers. Everything besides the onions are volunteers. And that's the nice thing I think about having this garden for the second year now, is that we are getting quite a bit of volunteers, which is just seeds that is maybe in our compost that have now come up. Look at this beautiful sunflowers. I am loving it. So here we have our gem squash bed. This bed is, all along this bed is gem squash. And I don't see any fruit having been set yet. But I do see flowers. And then in the next bed, we have our sweet melon plants. Some more volunteer sunflowers. and zinnias. So these are the sweet melons. No fruit has been set as yet. And then moving along, we have a bed of pumpkins. And I've got, like I've said in previous videos, garden tours, that there are two types. I have the green, blue queen or something, but then I also have the white Boer pumpkin. So these are the pumpkins. See, these a little teeny weeny one. I cannot wait for everything just to completely, grow up these trellises and thicken up with leaves and things. So these are peas which we've now harvested, so this bed will be cleaned out. This is our potato bed all the way down here. And these are the other pumpkin bed. It's right next to the one that I just showed you. These little pumpkins, the baby pumpkins. And then in the next bed, we have our butternuts and volunteer tomato plants once again, which we are leaving. All the volunteer tomato plants, I'm not staking, I'm not pruning. These are little butternuts, seeking fruit. See, it's so exciting when you start seeing your vegetables on the plant. So these are the butternuts in that bed. And then here we have some Floridade and some Roma tomatoes in this bed. There we have a bed of corn. So that is corn down there. And this too is corn. So all the flowers on this side, these are flowers that are volunteer flowers. They are flowers that self-seeded from last year. These are the corn bed. And next to that, we have self-seeded flowers. And the garden is so peaceful at this hour in the morning. Sounds of nature, beautiful. So this is exactly the effect that I want. I want that English cottage garden look when I look out my back windows. These are all my pepper plants from last year, and they have all got plenty of fruit on them now, getting to the normal sized fruit. In winter we had, towards the end of winter we had small teeny weeny peppers, but we never ever stopped having peppers. Here we have Ashley cucumbers, a bed of Ashley cucumbers. Planted some lettuce in this bed, in the half of it. And then here we have our cabbage. These cabbage are now, we've used so many of them, but we still have so many. And then we have the turnips, which have gone to seed. And here we have spinach. Actually 2 beds of spinach. And that's the mulberry tree. Sunflowers in the pathways. And then this poppies and marigolds and zinnias, sunflowers, and some grasses just in between. That has just come up, but I like it. I like the look of it. So I think this is our full garden tour. So I do hope that you enjoyed this garden tour. And hopefully we'll do another one soon. From me, Hyria, at South African Homesteader. Until next time.